right, Pam, as Zach Taylor's team still has an outside shot at the playoffs, 2 games back of Pittsburgh and Baltimore in the north. And after today, the easiest remaining schedule in the AFC, after today, his team should be favored every game that they play. Bills on the other side. Sean McDermott, his team started 4-0, but 4-4 since then. Their streak of 5 consecutive division titles in jeopardy, with New England at 11-2. And the Bills trying to solidify their wild card standing. They would be the 7th seed if the playoffs began today. Bengals won the toss. They'll take the ball. They're saying we're going to give Joe Burrow as many chances as we can. It's Charlie Jones on the return. 3 touchdowns on returns in his career. He takes this one to the 32-yard line, and that is where Burrow and the Bengals will begin. Cincinnati was 1-8 without Joe Burrow, missing time with a toe injury. He came back against the Ravens on Thanksgiving, 260 yards and 2 touchdowns. Their 8th consecutive win with him at quarterback.
Yeah, and it feels like if you're a Cincinnati Bengal fan, you look around and you say, really, it was our defense. I don't know if the offense was the problem. Listen, Joe Burrow, I don't care how many points they scored with Joe Flacco, whatever. This offense just operates at a different level with Joe Burrow,
who is 2-0 in his career against Buffalo. Hands it off to Chase Brown, and Brown has 4 yards off the left side on the first play of the day for Cincinnati. And this offense now full strength. They get Burrow back last week. They get T. Higgins back from concussion today.
Yeah, so I think the key today, Zach Taylor, the head coach, offensive play caller, and Joe Burrow, the key is no wasted possessions. We're going to talk a lot about this new style of approach of the Buffalo Bills, the heavy run game, the high volume of James Cook. Don't shorten the game. You want to maximize possessions for Joe Burrow in this Cincinnati offense.
2 plays, 2 runs. Brown is stopped by Deion Walker, the 4th-round rookie, looking like a draft steal for this Buffalo defense. No defense in the NFL, Greg, has dealt with more injuries. And another key one today. Joey Bosa misses his first game with a hamstring injury.
Yeah, when you talk to Sean McDermott, the head coach, you know, it's all about continuity. He says we just have to get into where we can string together multiple weeks in a row with the same starting lineup. So you heard Pam tell us about Joey Bosa and some of the defensive line rotations for today, but when they've been healthy and they've had continuity, this is still a very good Buffalo defense.
Bills don't blitz a ton. They got everybody up at the line of scrimmage here on 3rd down. They bring 5. Burrow hit as he throws, a juggle and a catch and a first down. T. Higgins coming back from concussion right away makes an impact.
It's going to be fun watching these routes. Watch all the small steps. You see everyone just trying to find their way, the footing, the ball's a little harder when it's cold. It's just these conditions are actually advantageous for the offense, Joe. You know where you're going, so you're not going to run a lot of routes full speed. You're not going to make a lot of sudden cuts, but make the defense react to you. That's the mentality on a snowy day as an offensive player.
Joe Burrow is saying, I hope that it snows. I hope it's terrible. He feels like he's figured out a way to throw the ball well, even in these conditions. Over the middle, he goes for Higgins again, and Higgins has a dozen into Bills territory. It was really cold in Cincinnati this week. Zach Taylor said, look, boys, I got good news. It's going to be freezing cold in Buffalo this week, and it's also going to be freezing cold here in Cincinnati, and so they changed their normal practice routine, practice outside throughout the week to get them ready for this game. And really, both these teams have been excellent, the worse the conditions have been through the years. First drive of the ball game, 1st and 10 at the Buffalo 40. Burrow looks to throw, dumps it off. Brown got hit right away. He's planted by Shaq Thompson. 10 years in Carolina, comes over here to Buffalo to provide depth, but he's given them so much more than that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was really the injuries that ended his career in Carolina and just got a new start here. Of course, Sean McDermott, they go way back to early in Shaq's career when he got drafted in the 1st round by Carolina. And tell you what, a healthy Shaq Thompson, you can make an argument, he's been their best defensive player here over the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Broke his ankle 2 years ago. He tore his Achilles last year. Just 6 games played the last 2 seasons, but healthy for the most part lately. Taron Johnson, the nickel, was able to hit Brown first. Fought forward for a couple, and a 3rd down coming up here. There is a flag. Our first one of the day thrown by the referee, Brad Rogers.
There's no foul on the play. It's 3rd down.
All right, so they pick up the flag. Third down coming up here for the Bengals. The most pass-heavy offense in the NFL and facing off with the best pass defense in the NFL today.
And you talk about one of the big differences with Joe Burrow versus the other quarterbacks behind center and the time that Burrow's had to miss. These third down situations. Quarterback play raises the ceiling of third down in the NFL. He's going to target past the yard to gain at one of the highest rates in the league. They are going to push the ball downfield traditionally with Joe Burrow on third down.
Found T. Higgins on third down to start this drive. Third down here, he's got Pirine out of the backfield. Pirine breaks a tackle and another and fights for a first down. Numbers don't do this guy justice. Zach Taylor went out of his way to tell us how valuable, how important the ninth-year man out of Oklahoma has been for their whole deal.
And just a great job by Joe Burrow. Look at the depth of the Buffalo Bills secondary and linebackers. There's not a defender within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. He gets the ball checked down to Pirine and then just being physical. Something the Buffalo Bills, both in the run game and pass, yards after contact. That's been something that Sean McDermott's been harping on, and big conversion there on third down.
Second one of the drive for Cincinnati. First down inside the 30. Handoff Brown, hit at the line, nothing doing. It was T.J. Sanders this time, another one of the rookies on this Buffalo defense. Brandon Beane, the front office, focused on the defense in the draft with 5 of their first 6 picks coming on that side.
Really the real weakness of this Buffalo Bills defense, at least statistically, is that rush defense. And, you know, it's kind of a boom or bust approach. They're very good at tackles for loss, tackles for no gain. They call them stuff plays, but it's the explosive plays. So they're good on a play-by-play basis. They have to eliminate the big ones.
Second and 9, back to the air for Burrow. Finds a window off the hands of Iosivas. A little bit off of the mark with that throw, and it's 3rd and 9.
You know, one of the big storylines that you and I have been kind of talking about and looking forward to seeing how it matched up. Nobody faces lighter boxes, high safeties, and very obvious why the Cincinnati Bengals offense with their proficiency throwing the ball, but that's not been what Buffalo's been. They've been a heavy box, single safety, trying to control that run game. Here, at least on the opening drive, Buffalo's gone back to more of those light boxes, keeping everything in front of them.
4-man rush on 3rd and 9. Burrow underneath Iosivas, and a third down conversion of this first drive as the Bengals take advantage of that cushion.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm talking about. They're just real deep. They're real shallow. And listen, when you're playing Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and now Burrow's back, you understand you don't want them to throw the ball over your head, but Tre'Davious White there, the corner, 3rd medium, clearly a passing down, just giving up a ton of cushion underneath. We've now seen Burrow throw short of the sticks, something he doesn't traditionally do on 3rd down, all because of the depth of this Bills defense.
Inside the 20, 1st down and 10. Long opening drive for the Bengals, and Samaje Perine sticks his nose down and gets a few. Joe Burrow 2-0 against Buffalo in his career, included in the playoff win in the snow. And what he said, remember that was the polar vortex back in the 22 season. 4-0 in his career in below freezing temperatures, which we have today. 18-5 in his career in December. And he said it's a little different process to the way that he grips the ball this time of year, way that he throws it in the cold. Some quarterbacks will complain about the grip in that situation. We said, what's the secret?
I ain't telling you.
He wasn't biting.
He told us a lot of great stuff. He wasn't going to tell us that.
2nd and 7. He'll look to throw it. Underneath again. It is Higgins again, right near the marker, working against Taron Johnson. Spot him a little bit short. It's going to be 3rd and 1.
All right, so watch Higgins, Jamar Chase. Watch how slow, watch how controlled they are coming off the ball. No real big burst, just making sure they keep their feet underneath them.
Perfect on 3rd down on this drive. Pirine straight ahead. 1st down, Cincinnati. Pirine to the 5. A 13-play opening drive for Cincinnati.
They're kind of taking a page out of Buffalo's book. This is what Buffalo's been so good all season, opening drive touchdowns. Josh Allen, they lead the league in 7 touchdowns to start. So now here's Joe Burrow. Zach Taylor, they win the toss. They elect to possess the ball to start the game, both to maximize offensive possessions and also to control the weather and the direction come the second half.
First down and goal for the Bengals on the 14th play of the drive. It's Brown trying to find daylight. Burrows ahead, still goes, and finds the end zone. What a statement of a drive for Cincy to start the day. A 14-play march and a Chase Brown touchdown. Wow.
That's why you take the ball. And when you have confidence in your offense, and really it was at balance. We talk so much about the heavy volume of pass and the physical runs, the ability to convert on third down. And we've seen Brown, we saw P. Ryan, just their ability to generate yards after the initial contact. Big part of that opening drive story.
And a big part of the story for the Bills defense. You mentioned it. 4 yards on average per play after contact, the most in the NFL. And you saw it again on that touchdown run right there. You mentioned the balance. 14 plays on that drive, 7 pass, 7 run, 7 points for the Bengals, and off and rolling in upstate New York. Well, you can play the Fox Super 6 NFL Challenge. Download the Fox Sports app right now and enter for free for a shot to win your share of $10,000 in cash prizes. See the Fox Sports app for details. I know some drive for the Bengals trying to build off of the momentum of their most complete win of the season. Baltimore on Thanksgiving, 14 plays, 67 yards, and Chase Brown finishes it off. And so now Evan McPherson to kick it. On a day where special teams can be a little bit shaky with kind of weather conditions that we have here. Ray Davis, Ty Johnson back to return. Now Davis had a touchdown 2 weeks ago against Houston. They keep it away from him. Ty Johnson. Yeah, it stopped just past the 20-yard line. And so the reigning MVP Josh Allen into crunch time, where he has been so good throughout his career this time of year. The worse the weather, the better Josh Allen seems to be. 18-3 since 2020 in December.
And especially good here at home. And, you know, we talked a little bit during the open. This looks, if you watched the Buffalo Bills a few years ago, you are not going to see Josh Allen this often hand the ball off. A line under center like he is here. This is a very new approach by Joe Brady, and it's serving them well.
Best rushing offense in the NFL. Goes play action to begin, and a sight for sore eyes for the Bills with the tight ends getting involved, and a downfield passing game. It's Dawson Knox, 32 on the first play of the day for Buffalo.
All right, so this is Gronk pass. Just a little play action fake, pull the backside guard, and then look how wide open Dawson Knox is on the little skinny post. Something to keep in mind, Dalton Kincaid, he's been out for a while now with some injuries. No team in the league struggles defending the tight end position more than this Cincinnati defense. So having all their tight ends back, they're going to be in multiple big personnel groupings. Big matchup to watch throughout the game.
It's not even close, Greg, giving up the most yards to tight ends. 250 more yards than any other defense to tight ends this year as James Cook's first carry of the day goes for a minimal gain. All right, so some injury updates on this Buffalo offense. They get one of the 2 tackles back. Deion Dawkins is back in there at left tackle, but Ryan Vandermark starts another game with Spencer Brown out with a shoulder injury. And you mentioned Dalton Kincaid coming back, missed 3 games with a hamstring injury. And then this week you saw a knee on the injury report, and it's like, oh man, because they have really missed number 86. Trying to get that downfield passing game going. Complement the top rushing offense. Allen back to throw. He's got all day. He checks it down to Ray Davis. And Davis trucks along the sideline. Beg your pardon, Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson has it and has a first down for Buffalo.
All right, so for Cincinnati, you know, we stand up here every week, and it seems like the fad around the league is everyone's playing these deep, high shell safeties, and nobody wants the ball thrown over their head. I think for Cincinnati, that approach needs to change today. When you take a look at what Buffalo wants to be, it's heavy volume run game, and it's short passing game leads to yards after catch. They need second-level defenders. Bring a safety down, and continue to eliminate the yards after contact and after the catch.
I said first down, a little bit short there. Johnson again with a big hole, and he stumbles and loses his footing. The snow tackles Ty Johnson, robs him of a touchdown. He'll settle for a first down.
Man, he's never gonna hear the end of that one. I mean, he was gone. There was not a guy in front of him, and he just loses his footing. You know, one of the big issues, to my earlier point about bringing guys at or near the line of scrimmage, you're better defending the run, but you are going to give up more explosive plays.
Cook gets stopped by Osai. The Cincinnati defense, you've given us a little bit of the detail on these guys, but Joe Burrow's return stole the headlines against Baltimore. But this defense, this young group gaining confidence, played by far its best game.
Absolutely. And their last 3 weeks, you know, last week's game, 5 takeaways, 3 sacks. Clearly their best game of the year in that win against the Baltimore Ravens. But it had really been the previous weeks even before that. So they need to bottle those last 3 weeks, continue to improve, because when you look overall across the entire season, they're at or near the bottom of pretty much every category.
2nd and 6. Gabe Davis stopped short. Davis's first catch of the day. He got 4. It'll be 3rd down and 2, and still pushing and shoving there. Davis off his feet there. And now he comes down. Getting Davis involved once again. He's back in Buffalo after he spent last season in Jacksonville and had that bad knee injury, and so he missed the first couple of months this year. Just his 6th catch right there. Buffalo's searching who's going to be that guy that Josh Allen can rely on the outside. It's certainly somebody he's got faith in, trust in from his previous stint here. 3rd down and 2. Ty Johnson's back at running back. It's Allen, and he's swallowed up in the backfield. Joseph Osai coming off his best game of the season against Baltimore as part of the best season of his career.
Yeah, this is kind of Josh Allen run territory. Low red zone, short yardage, just a little token fake, and then Ty Johnson's gonna kind of be the fullback, the lead blocker, but early penetration there up the middle. Osai, and just nowhere for Josh Allen to go. And you know, you got to imagine on 3rd and short there, Sean McDermott's thinking, I've got 2 downs, but with that loss, they got to kick a field goal.
Matt Prater, who they picked up at the start of the season when Tyler Bass was hurt. Bass finished for the year, and so this is Prater's job, and he's now 18 of 20 on the year. Boy, there was end zone ahead there for Ty Johnson, and he's thinking, no, lost a touchdown, and now the Bills are really thinking that. They settle for 3, 7-3 early on. Both teams with points on their first drive late in the first quarter, 7-3. Joe Davis, Greg Olson, Pam Oliver, happy to be here in Orchard Park. One of the final few games at the Ralph. Bills will host the last 2 weeks of the regular season against the Eagles and the Jets. Taking on the Bengals today, trying to solidify their playoff positioning. Bengals still dreaming of the playoffs themselves. 4-8. How in the world are they thinking playoffs? Well, they got numbered 9 back, and they're in a division that nobody seems to want to win. So Ajay Pirine goes back with Charlie Jones here. Jones, dangerous return man from the 10. Has a seam and gives the Bengals good field position, crossing the 40.
All right, so let's go back to that 3rd and short. Ty Johnson, he pops it. What initially looked like a touchdown. All right, he kind of falls, he loses his balance. But in live action, great job by Cincinnati. He's not touched yet. Now the question is, by the time that ball is knocked out, does Johnson's right hand, Mike Pereira, is that ball loose before or after that right hand touches the defender of the Bengals?
He had control of the ball when he was on the ground, and initially, right then when he's touched, either him or the ball, he is considered down by contact. So he's clearly down at that point.
That was really close in real time. Thanks, Mike.
First play of the drive. There's the first catch of the game for Jamar Chase. And nobody happier to have Joe Burrow back than his old college buddy, who's got his 87th catch of the year, more than any receiver.
Yeah, I think we throw around, you know, we're probably guilty of it. You know, this is the best receiver, the best defender, the best. And I think with Jamar Chase, he is the best wide receiver in football. And he can really do it all. He can play as a perimeter vertical player outside the numbers. He can play inside in the slot. He's great yards after contact, contested catches. He's probably the most well-rounded receiver in the entire league.
It's going to be 5 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons to open his career. Should reach that mark today. Here's Brown. Aggressive defense right there from Jordan Poyer, who's back in Buffalo after spending last season in Miami. But Joe Burrow, we mentioned it off of the top, 1-8 without him this season. They've won 8 in a row. You got to go back to December 2nd of last year to find the last game that the Bengals lost when Joe Burrow was the starting quarterback. I mean, you go from, man, what a disaster of a season to, wait a minute, we still got some life, and they're going to be favored in every game after this week. Can they steal a win today against Buffalo? Another hit in the backfield, and it's Shaq Thompson again.
You know, one of the crazy things about snow games, we've seen some of the receivers and the defensive backs trying to find their footing a little more under control. It's actually, from an offensive perspective, Joe, it's actually easier for the offensive line to pass protect than it is to really dig in and get movement in the run game.
End of a quarter in Buffalo, and I used to play video games and I'd set the weather settings. I would make it look exactly like this. Perfect. 7-3 Bengals after a quarter. Burrow, Allen was 3 for 3 on their opening drive. Story of that first quarter for the Bengals, 4 for 4 on third down. They're going to start the second quarter with a 3rd and 11. Sample and Brown both in the backfield by Burrow. 4-man rush, able to break through, but he gets rid of it, and a perfect strike and a catch from Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki had a big first season in Cincinnati last year. Not the same this year as he's dealt with injury, but a big catch right there for 15.
Yeah, and this is what Gesicki does best, this time aligned on the nickelback Johnson, and it's his ability to go up, Joe, and high point the ball. He's a great hands catcher. The radius that Joe Burrow knows he can place that ball. Not only is he 6'5", but he's long. He can jump, and he's a hands catcher. I can't stress that enough in a league where everybody wants to catch the ball with their body. Man, what a weapon now that he's back healthy.
Joe Burrow got the sense talking to him this week. He thought Gesicki could have a big game with Higgins back and the attention on Higgins and this guy here in Jamar Chase. Waits for the blocks to develop and then speed. Those teams tied 6-6. At the top of the division have gone in different directions. Baltimore's won 5 of 6 after Pittsburgh started hot but has lost 5 of 7. 2nd and 3. Burrow lofting end zone. Higgins, did he get his feet in? He did. Touchdown Bengals. T. Higgins back in a big way. 21 yards. They say that he got his feet in. Let's see if he can even tell.
All right, well, between quarters, they came out with the blowers. Yeah, I think as long as, yeah, it looks like that right toe is still kicking up some snow. I think he's in. This perimeter passing game, especially contested catches. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, best duo in the league, winning 50-50 balls, and there's another great example for T. Higgins,
who had really started to come on before going out with that concussion. Quiet start to this season, but he had 5 touchdowns over the last 5 games. There's your Joe Flacco doing his thing. McPherson's extra point is there, and 2 drives for the Bengals, 2 touchdowns. T. Higgins, this Bengals offense finally is at full strength and looking like it here in the first half in Buffalo. In Fargo, North Dakota, then grew up in Ohio. He's been playing in the snow, playing in the cold weather throughout his career. 9 out of 10 in the snow today, and his team's got a 14-3 lead. Already with 14 points against the Bills defense. They gave up 7 all of last week in Pittsburgh. The Bills have won 11 home games in a row in December or January. Got to go back to 2021 to find the last time they lost a regular season home game this time of year. Davis on the return to the 30. Josh Allen and the offense heads back out there. We're talking to Joe Brady, the old coordinator, this week. What do you want the identity to be? And he said, look, we want it to be whatever it needs to be that week to win the game. You look at last week's game as an example. They were down 2 tackles. They were facing a really good pass rush in Pittsburgh, and then the conditions were bad. So what did they do? They ran it 51 times for 250 yards. Different equation today, finding themselves in a 14-3 hole. Drive starts at the 30. James Cook, who had 32 of those carries. On a ground-heavy day, he's got 4.
Yeah, I think big picture, Joe Brady and Sean McDermott, I think they recognize that for as good as this run game is, best in the league as far as yards per game, I think they understand, though, in the NFL, to win long-term, the model needs to be you pass to get a lead and to score, and then you run to win the game. You run second in the equation. I think they need to find some vertical passing game, some traditional drop back and play action, take some pressure off this underneath yards after catch, and of course off the run game.
Fake to Cook. Over the middle. There is Dawson Knox with his second catch already. Knox to midfield. Stopped by Oren Burks on a gain of 14.
Yeah, so we've now seen them on early downs, one under center on the opening drive, now here out of the gun, but still play action, misdirection. Get these defenders going in different directions, make them kind of determine whether they have the footing to react. Heard Burrow say it, we talked about it at the start of the broadcast, the offense has the advantage. Make the defense react to you, make them go sideways, make them change directions.
On a day where statistically it's already a massive advantage for the Bills offense against this Bengals D. James Cook has a hole, and Cook gallops his way through there for 6 yards. James Cook has gone to another level this season. He's been good for a few years, but he's turned into a workhorse this year. And you think about during the contract negotiations, the holdout during training camp, part of the hesitance to give him a deal was, well, the dude's not even on the field half of the time. We're talking about him second in the NFL in attempts. It's not just the production, but the reliability, the workhorse reliability for the 4th-year man from Georgia. Only Jonathan Taylor more yards than Cook this year. Allen, who's perfect so far, down the field, almost got picked. Wanted Keon Coleman. DJ Turner, who's turned into their top cover guy, broke on the ball and made it 3rd and 4.
Yeah, DJ Turner, I mean, when you talk to Al Golden, they love him. 3rd year in the league, just continues to get better. He leads the entire NFL in passes defended. There's a great example there. He does a great job reading the top end of the break. Keon Coleman's struggling to get out of the top of that break, his footing. He does a great job attacking the ball, and fortunately for Josh Allen, he didn't come away with the pick.
And so 3rd and 4. Allen has worked his magic through the years. Bubbles it outside, incomplete. It took off on him as he threw for Ty Johnson, and it's 4th and 4 at the 45. What do you do?
Yeah, I think you have to go for it. I think both teams in these conditions, knowing how good Cincinnati's offense is, I think each one of these offenses needs to value every possession they get. You punt this ball away to Joe Burrow, and you haven't really shown the first 2 possessions that you can stop him at all. Next thing you know, you look up and it's 21-3 and you're in trouble. So I think this is the right call. McDermott has leaned into 4th down all season long.
On 4th and 4. Allen's in trouble. Steps up, throws. He's got an open man and a 1st down. It's Gabe Davis, 2nd catch of the day, 17 yards, and they convert.
All right, so we can talk about this run game and the highest volume of run all you want. 3rd down, 4th down, critical moments in the red zone. They have the ultimate weapon in football, Josh Allen. It is a 3rd down, a 4th down position. We've seen Burrow do it here early. Take a big, deep breath there, Josh Allen. Now he's like, all right, I'm in this ball game, and I'm going to start doing my thing.
Yeah, big play right there as they try to keep up with Burrow and the Bengals offense. Inside the 30, it's James Cook. James Cook trying to get around the corner. Lowers the shoulder against Dax Hill and gets bumped out of bounds on a gain of 8. All
right, so you talked last week, I don't know if in all my life, so these are what they call surfaces. So this is a 4-man surface. They build it with 2 offensive linemen and 2 tight ends. This is duo, man blocking. But nobody in the league is better than James Cook pressing the hole and then bouncing to the outside. And that is the exact formation and the exact play. They ran what looked like 25 times in that game last week against the Steelers.
Sean McDermott said it stands alone for him in his 24 years in the NFL. Toughness and execution in the run game. Here's Allen again, escaping and somehow getting a first down. More of that Josh Allen sparkle. 3 yards, first down, what looked like was going to be a sack.
So these back-to-back plays, 2 great examples. When I had a chance to talk to Al Golden, the defensive coordinator in his first year with the Cincinnati Bengals, he said the key today, both run and containing Josh Allen on scramble, is setting firm edges. So what that means is the widest defensive player on the line. It could be a defensive end, an outside linebacker. It could be a variety of guys. They have to cut the field in half. They cannot allow this offense to operate from sideline to sideline.
But then sometimes, even when it looks like you've got him, he finds a way to make a play.
Exactly.
He'll look to throw here. Well protected, that offensive line giving him all afternoon. Does he find anybody to come free? He doesn't. Credit to the Bengals secondary right there for holding up forever. Nobody getting any separation. Bills fans are saying, man, oh man, would somebody get open?
I'll tell you what, though, that's a great job by the secondary of the Bengals. Soft coverage. Just a lot of bodies. You see they got 2 on Keon Coleman. Now scramble drill. Kincaid's trying to get back into the vision of the quarterback, and they teach defensive players to plaster. It turns into man coverage, find the closest receiver and just latch on to him. And despite that great pass protection, just nowhere to go with the ball.
Second and 10. Johnson on a screen. Johnson to the 10, still fighting. He gets 8. 3rd and 2. This is what the passing game has been. Short throws, but then a bunch of yards after the catch. Ty Johnson has shown his ability to do that at a 52-yard catch-and-run touchdown against Tampa Bay a few weeks ago. Yeah, and taking it on the screen here sets up a manageable 3rd down midway through this second quarter.
The way this drive's going, in the last 3rd and short, they put the ball into the hands of Josh Allen in the shotgun. Now he's going to get under center. They've had a lot more luck, a lot more fortune. Now he's going to back up. But they've had a lot more fortune under center than they have gun so far.
3rd down and 3. Fake to Cook. Throw to the flats. Knox got tackled in the backfield. Geno Stone, veteran-most member of this young secondary, with a tackle for loss and another 4th down try coming from Buffalo.
Really nice job here. Man coverage. They call these slide routes, meaning you come behind the line of scrimmage out into the backside flat, and Geno Stone does a great job just matching Dawson Knox the entire way across the field. And another critical 4th down. Remember, a lot of teams don't like kicking down here in the low red zone. The new kickoff rules, inclement, you give up a lot of field position.
Put it in Allen's hands, ask him to make something happen. He scrambles. Nobody open, backs up, heaves, end zone. He threaded it through there for a touchdown to Shakir. How in the world did he get it through?
Tell you what, we're seeing 2 quarterbacks play the position in the snow, in 25 degrees, about as well as the position can be played. There is a flag down, but again, this is just scramble drill. Wow. Stay in the vision of your quarterback, and it's incredible. He knows when to put the cape on. It doesn't have to be every play, but when they need him, he's there.
There are not too many guys ever that have been able to make a throw like that, and he does it consistently.
How about
Still
a
waiting
blizzard?
for the call on the flag here.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 58. Buffalo has chosen to enforce that roughing the passer to the 1-yard line to go for a 2-point conversion.
All right. So going to go for 2 here, playing aggressively. You said right off of the top, both these teams probably going to need to do that today. Here is the roughing on Osai. And a 2-point try coming up for the Bills, trying to cut it to 3.
Yeah, so I like this decision by Sean McDermott. Right now, you're just trying to accumulate as many points as humanly possible, right? Maximize your possessions. So far, it hasn't looked like your defense can slow down Joe Burrow in this Bengals offense. So critical moment here. You get the ball at the 1, try to steal an extra point.
3 tight ends and a fullback in there. A bootleg. Allen back of the end zone. He's got Knox. Dawson Knox making an impact early in this game, and it's 14-11. Josh Allen on 4th down kept it alive and found Shakir somehow between 4 or 5 white shirts. And a million of white snowflakes falling on this Sunday afternoon. 14-11 game. In NFL history with 3 seasons where he's got 20 touchdown passes, 10 rushing touchdowns. Only Matt Stafford more touchdowns this year than Josh Allen. They go 70 yards in 12 plays. They convert 4th down twice. Knifes that one through to Khalil Shakir for the touchdown here. Bills started this season 4-0, 4-4 since then. Inconsistent. They've been very injured. Trying to get some continuity to the lineup. Still chasing New England in the division, who they face off with next week. The Patriots sitting there with a bye and the best record in the AFC at 11-2. Samaje Perine off of this kick from Prater from the 6. Perine to the 31 as we look back at the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, what I love about this play is Allen has options. You see Dalton Kincaid, he's the wide flat. Gilliam, he's the inside flat. And then the back runner, so he's got 1, 2. He gets all the way to his 3rd option. Dawson Knox, he's the back end zone runner. I love not only moving the quarterback in these conditions, but for a guy like Josh Allen, he's got 4 chances. He's got 3 guys to throw it to, and he can always take it and run it himself.
Bengals go back on offense here. This is the first time in 2 years they've scored touchdowns on their first 2 possessions of the game. That was also against Buffalo. Drive starts at the 31. Trying to get Chase Brown going. Stop and start for 3. And a game break with Chris.
Now, Joe.
Oh, what a bummer.
That's always the fear, right? You're compensating. You're doing everything you can to take the stress off the injured leg, and let's hope he's all right.
Wide open is Brown out of the backfield, trying to shake Milano loose, but can. And the longest tenured Bill, Matt Milano. All-Pro in 2022, 1 bad luck injury after another since then, but he stuck his nose in right there. Looked like the old Milano.
Yeah, it's a great job in the open field. I think the next time he's got the ball, I don't think this is a kind of make a million cuts type of game. I think this is a put your foot, get and run through contact. It's going to be really hard with this footing today to really make a lot of multiple moves in the open field.
Bills trying to get their first 3rd down stop of the day. Bengals 5 for 5. Trying to sort out the protection here. 4-man rush. Down the seam, Gesicki. His 2nd 3rd down grab of this first half.
Just a really nice job by Gesicki. Watch Cam Lewis here. The second he voids in his zone, see how Gesicki just gets his eyes around? So he understands in zone coverage, Joe, the way they used to teach us is if you're open, stay open. There's no need to run through that zone 100 miles an hour and be covered by a deeper defender. So just great awareness. Burrow sees it, pitch and catch.
So many different weapons on this Bengals offense. From the 47, back to the air for Burrow. To the sideline he goes, and it's almost picked by Taron Johnson. He had Noah Fant open, but Johnson retreated and almost picked that thing off. 2nd and 10.
He got a little greedy on that one. I think Joe Burrow, that's like a heat check. You know, like in basketball, a guy's made like 4 3-pointers in a row, and he just comes back and he just takes the next open look. Taron Johnson gets a lot of depth. Sample, the other tight end, he's in the flat. On an early down, just probably check that one down and get a lot of yards after catch.
Here's Perine. Pirine for 7, stopped by Rousseau. All right, so the snow is messing with the digital markers. So we're going old school. We got the old chain gang out there for the rest of the day. And once they switch, they won't go back. Say, look, you had your chance, technology. Can't trust you today. 3rd and 3. Pirine spins ahead. Looks like he gets it. Samaje Pirine with a heavy dose early on in this game. These guys skating around here. Everybody doing their best to keep their footing, and they do so to convert another 3rd down. They're going to huddle up here inside the 4-minute mark of the 2nd quarter.
You can always tell by the call on 3rd and medium, you can always tell whether they believe they're in 4-down territory. So that call tells me you hand that ball off to Pirine, and for whatever reason you come up short, they're just going to keep this up. This could be a 4th down contest the rest of this game.
Burrow off play action, steps up, floats it for Higgins, trying to take advantage of his size. A circus catch attempt, but no good with the coverage from Tre'Davious White. You can already see how happy Joe Burrow is to have T. Higgins back in this game. Higgins 4 catches with a touchdown. And if I'm a defense trying to defend these Bengals at this point, I got Higgins on one side, I got Chase on the other, and I got Gesicki running down the middle. Higgins, though, slow to get up here. Concussion missed last week, and oh man, seeing his head bang down to this rock hard turf. We're going to take a break. Higgins, after missing a game with a concussion, head smacks down there to the turf and walks off under his own power, but is out of the game here and will go into the NFL protocol here with his head hitting the turf. 2nd and 10 for the Bengals, leading 14-11, trying to make it back-to-back wins in Burrow's return. From the 44-yard line against a blitz, it's picked up. Burrow really good on the move, turns the shoulders, underthrows Iosivas, coverage from Johnson, but a flag flies. Taron Johnson going to get called for pass interference here as Burrow tried to hit Iosivas. That's a tough spot there. The receiver stops, and what is he going to do?
Yeah, so Burrow, he saw him. Iosivas was wide open. He did a nice job on the scramble drill, turning upfield and getting past Johnson. And
pass interference. Defense number 7. Ball's placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic 1st down.
But and listen, I'm an offensive guy, Joe. This is my least favorite rule in the NFL. The underthrown ball that just artificially creates pass interference. And I know if you're a Bengals fan, you hate me right now. I'm just calling it the way I see it. I don't like it regardless of who the team is. If that ball's thrown 5 yards over the receiver, it falls incomplete. So it's good coverage by Taron Johnson. There's nothing really else for him to do. The ball's thrown 5 yards short.
33-yard penalty right there. Makes it 1st down and goal. Burrow looking in zone. First read taken away. Throwing to the pylon. A diving catch inside the 1 for Chase Brown. Is inside the end zone, dove out of it to pull it in. And it's 2nd and goal right at the doorstep.
Some of these throws that we're seeing by Burrow and Allen are just remarkable. I mean, I'll tell you what, that might be a touchdown.
I'm with you, really close.
Let's see, this will be a great shot.
Wow.
Yeah, if he maintains control all the way through, that ball definitely broke the plane. The question is, did he maintain the contact all the way through the ground?
And now the whistle comes. Bengals are hurrying up to the line as if they were the one trying to cover up whatever the result was.
Well, I think both coaches were determining who wanted to challenge it. Sean McDermott's down.
Cincinnati is challenging the ruling on the field that the run was short of the goal line. Timeout.
Yeah, and then McDermott, he was down on the 10. I think he was waiting for his guys upstairs to tell him whether or not that catch was completed.
You'd be the Burrow 12 out of 15. 119 yards and 2 of those touchdowns. McPherson's extra point. Makes it a 21-11 game. Complicated review because you got both teams hoping that something gets discovered on review. The Bills are hoping that they look and see that he didn't maintain possession. The Bengals are hoping they look and see that he in fact caught it in the end zone. And the Bengals win out and lead this game by 10.
Yeah, and what's lost in all the reviews is that throw on the run, in the snow, in the cold, right on the front quarter pylon to your running back.
Yeah, that too.
All right, it's one thing to throw it to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Oh, great throw, great catch. To make that throw on the run with that accuracy, that is the first touchdown. How about this, Joe? How about this fast fact? You ready?
Yeah, go.
That is the first touchdown the Buffalo Bills have given up all season long on a quarterback throwing on the run. How about that?
Well, they met their match here because Joe Burrow has been out of this world on the move.
Just speaks, they usually do such a great job controlling the movement of the quarterback. And in his return last week, I think there was a lot of people thinking, is Burrow going to have his mobility? Is he going to just be a pocket kind of quarterback and a statue? And he quickly put all that to rest with his performance against Baltimore on Thanksgiving night, running all over the place, ripping it, kind of like we just saw there.
Yeah, what was statistical hope for the Bengals to the playoffs became a little bit of a spark with what Burrow did last week. But with every touchdown drive, more and more they're saying, man, oh man, look out for the Bengals when it comes to that division. As Burrow and Allen face off for the third time. They met in the divisional round in the 22 playoffs. Burrow had 2 touchdowns here in nasty weather and a blowout win against Allen and the Bills. And then at home in 2023, season high 348 yards and 2 touchdowns for Burrow. Allen had a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown, but was picked off. And the Bengals won that one 24-18. So you know Josh Allen would love a chance to get at Joe Burrow here. These guys, 2 of the top quarterbacks in the league, 2 of the top quarterbacks of this generation. Final minutes of this first half. It's James Cook with a massive hole, and James Cook with his first big run of the day. 16 yards out near midfield for Cook. Second in the NFL behind Taylor with over 1,200 yards, already a career high.
Yeah, and this is what James Cook does better than maybe any back in the league, Joe. It's the initial starting point of where he's aiming. So in that case, say it's the right B gap, so like behind the right tackle. But you never really know where he's going to end up crossing through the line of scrimmage. He can bounce, he can wind back, covering up, hat for a hat up front, and they really give James Cook a lot of flexibility on where his entry point is into the line of scrimmage.
Coming off his NFL high 7th 100-yard game of the season, he goes close to 50 right here with a pickup of 5 or 6. First Bill with 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons since Thurman Thomas had 8 in a row during the glory days of the Bills in the early 1990s. And Cook, the second-round pick out of Georgia in 2022, has kept on getting better and looking like a worthy investment as this clock winds down to the 2-minute warning. What a ball game this has been. It's a big one for both sides, both coaches, both quarterbacks in the spotlight today. Final 2 minutes of the first half when you come back. And they're going to get the ball to begin the second half. Ty Johnson into the game at running back. He's got it. Hit at the line, broke a tackle, and got a couple. Third down.
Ty Johnson with the carry for Buffalo.
Derek Carter, one of the rookie linebackers, in there with the tackle. Let's go down to Pam for an injury update.
Yes, Joe, Bengals safety P.J. Jules. He has a left ankle injury. His return is questionable for the rest of the day.
All right, Pam. This Bengals defense, such a young group. 6 of their starters were drafted over the last 3 years. Been getting better and better as the year has gone on. A big test today against the Bills. And a flag flying here. This is going to be a false start on Buffalo.
False start. Offense. Number 4. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
And they get Cook.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting here now with them moving this to 3rd and long. See Cook here. He tries to play it off like, oh, I'm just looking in, just getting a sign. Nope. Joe Brady, offensive coordinator, clearly frustrated. But now 3rd and 8. This is tough because if you don't convert here, you have an opportunity for 4th down, depending on how many they get on 3rd, because you definitely don't want to give Joe Burrow the ball back with a short field with all 3 timeouts to end the half.
Try to open up some space in the middle of the field, move Johnson outside. They do the same with Cooks. Quickly they throw it. And Shakir scoots ahead, gets what he can. Carter the tackle. Timeout taken by Cincinnati here with 1:16. Zach Taylor saying, let's see if our defense can get one more stop and one more touch for Burrow. Shakir limping a little bit there. Buffalo's leading receiver who's got their touchdown today.
We'll take a look here. Here's Shakir right here in the slot. He gets the quick little inside smoke screen.
Great catch, by the way.
Yeah, and it looked like he kind of just ran into his own guy, maybe rolled his ankle. It looked like he had more yard. Yeah, so just kind of gets his toes stuck in the ground. And we've now seen a couple Buffalo Bills. Oh, there he goes. He steps on McGovern's ankle and kind of twists that right side of his leg.
High-level stuff in the late downs today. 3rd down for the Bengals. They're 7 for 7. 4th down for the Bills. They're 2 for 2 on 4th.
I had a feeling that when you're playing against teams as good as the opposing, you have to maximize your possessions. Every possession that ends with a field goal or with a punt lowers your chances of keeping up in the scoring pace.
High risk, high reward here. Thinking about giving the ball back to Joe Burrow with this much time at this part of the field. 4th down and 3. Bengals show blitz and then back off and rush just 5. Still get there, and it's incomplete. Burrow got drilled, or Allen got drilled as he let it go by Cedric Johnson. And the Bengals defense comes up with a stop. Johnson, who missed a lot of this season with a calf injury, has been making a bigger impact the last couple weeks.
So Cincinnati Bengals, Al Golden, the defensive coordinator, he decides to get up and play press man, bring some 5-man pressure, and trying to get off the line of scrimmage versus press. That is one aspect that is not an advantage for the offense. The defender can get up, be physical. Your ability to get in and out of your release is obviously hindered by the surface of the field, and you saw a lot of Buffalo guys slip in and trying to get into their routes, and by the time Josh Allen could pull the trigger, he's under pressure.
And now a danger zone here for Sean McDermott and the Bills. They've not been able to stop Burrow today. 1:11 and 2 timeouts. 12 out of 15 in his 2nd game back. This is the latest comeback for the 2-time NFL Comeback Player of the Year. He came back from the knee injury to lead him to the Super Bowl in 21. Came back from the wrist injury last year and back from the toe injury a month faster than the doctors told him would be possible. Drive begins. Burrow moves to his right, throws sideline incomplete, but a flag flies. Gesicki, the intended receiver, the coverage and the guilty party, Cam Lewis.
Holding. Defense, number 39. 5-yard penalty, automatic. 1st down.
Yeah, we're going to go back and take a look at this 4th down. We were telling you that the Bengals, they're getting up. See, they're playing up in their face, man. Watch Shakir, watch Davis, watch him struggle just getting off the line. See how many steps they have to take on these option routes. Very guarded. Everyone's afraid of falling down. Just a different animal when you get up and play press coverage.
T. Higgins, by the way, back in the game for the Bengals. Underneath, it's Tanner Hudson. Got all these weapons on the outside, and then there's Tanner Hudson last week making a one-handed touchdown catch. He's got a dozen on his first catch of the day. So 51 seconds, clock counting. Still those 2 timeouts for Cincinnati. A wobbler that is knocked out of there and incomplete. The rookie Maxwell Hairston knocked it away from Higgins.
Maxwell Hairston, we had a chance before the game. Brandon Beane, the general manager here in Buffalo, he was up in the booth and we were catching up, and we asked him about Hairston. We said, tell us. He goes, man, we really like this kid. He's going to continue to play more and more. Christian Benford, Hairston, we believe that's our long-term duo at the cornerback position, and we think down the stretch he's going to have a big role for us.
Missed the first couple months with a knee injury, but really coming on as he's putting together some games. 2nd down and 10, 39 seconds. Here comes a blitz from Benford. Got there and drilled Burrow, who never heard him coming. From the blind side, it's Benford with a sack for a loss of 9.
Yeah, watch how good this is, the disguise. You're going to see Benford, watch all the safeties. Everybody rotates
Cincinnati.
away from the pressure.
It's a 30-second timeout.
Orlando Brown, the left tackle, he just doesn't see it coming. And
33 seconds. Thank you.
a really well-timed corner cat pressure to the blind side of the quarterback, and Burrow just doesn't see it.
Having to get creative, this Bills defense, only 2 sacks the last 4 games, and then without Bosa today, so they dial up the corner blitz, and Benford gets there. Coming up at halftime, Kurt and the guys. J.J. McCarthy making his return to the lineup for Minnesota. Seattle and Atlanta in a tight defensive game. 21-11 here. Closing seconds of this entertaining playoff-like first half. 3rd and a mile.
Got to think some sort of inside screen, something with yards after the catch.
Burrow's looking downfield. Wants it all. Directs traffic. And he's got Higgins open, but he overthrew him. Higgins came loose of Benford, but a fluttering ball, a little too tall. And finally, a 3rd down stand for the Bills defense.
Yeah, and they really needed that. See Higgins, he starts all the way at the top of the screen, working on Christian Benford. And then right when Burrow kind of sends him, you see he does a little slide, a little hockey stop, and he just can't get his footing. Kind of thought they would try to get something underneath yards after catch. They still had a remaining timeout to stop the clock, clear a space and attempt the field goal, but now obviously 4th and a mile, they'll just punt it away.
Snow, by the way, is falling, I think, harder. Snowfall hard. I don't know. It's snow. There's a lot of snow right now.
It's snowing more.
Yes, there you go. Keep it simple, stupid. Well, it came after that, and Rico just barely got it away. Not a good one, though, with 15 seconds. Let's see what's coming up at halftime in Kurt's words.
Coming up on the Verizon Halftime, we'll get you caught up as to what has happened so far today here in Week 14. You were excited to say something?
Well,
you look like
look, I told you last week, did I not, that we were going to decorate the place. And I had a little help. Hey, look, guys, I managed to get Santa's hat up there. Ooh. Yeah, well, you're the only one who could have got it up there.
We'll see you at the half with these guys.
See you at the half.
Love it. Best time of year. 21-11, closing seconds of this first half, and this Bills team that has been struggling to really get things going. 500 over the last month plus, 8-4 overall. No longer focused on winning the 6th consecutive division title. Now it's just about getting into the playoffs as they sit precariously with that 7 seed and trail by 2 scores here going into the break. And some boos rain down from these Bills fans.
They're spoiled.
Hey, they have been.
10 seconds left on the 25-yard line. What are the thoughts? I know Josh Allen's good. I'm not sure if he's that good.
First half stats are brought to you by Taco Bell. Another look at this quarterback matchup. Both guys playing high level. 13 out of 18 for Joe Burrow, 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen 9 for 30.
This Bills offense and make sure they maximize possessions here in the second half.
You know, the Bills have lost 25 consecutive games and given up 21 points in the first half. That's the longest active losing streak. 21 points allowed in the first half here. That's the most in the month of December under Sean McDermott, who's in his 9th season as the head coach. These Bills have been dominant this time of year. 23-4 over the last month of the regular season, the last 5 years. On the return, here comes Ray Davis. Ray Davis is stopped shy of the 30-yard line. Down to the field, here's Pam.
Yeah, Joe Burrow with that impressive first half. I talked to Sean McDermott about it. He said, yeah, he did acknowledge the kind of game that Burrow's having. He says, we just got to do a better job. As for his own offense, he said, you know what, we've got to, when we get in that red zone, we have got to come away with touchdowns. As for Cincinnati, Zach Taylor, he loves what he's seeing so far. He really was complimentary of the offense's protection of Joe Burrow. Now, something that is developing, T. Higgins, he remains in the locker room. He is being evaluated for some sort of injury. I'll get clarification and up to you as soon as possible.
All right, Pam, it was a bit of a surprise to see him back on the field as quickly as he was after hitting his head on the turf, dealing with a concussion, but back in there. We'll await Pam's update on that. So the second half begins. The Bills with the ball from the 25, and Josh Allen looks to throw. He's pressured. He is sacked. It's B.J. Hill, one of the lone veterans on this defensive line, getting Cincy's second sack of the day.
Yeah, you can see the initial pressure here comes off the right edge. Murphy, and then he just pushes him right into Hill, who's working over the right guard, Osiris Torrance. This is not a great pass rushing defense. Of course, Trey Hendrickson, they're all pro, all world, best defensive player on the team. He hasn't played virtually the entire season. And a lot of these young guys, Murphy, a former first-round pick, having his best stretch of his young career over the last couple weeks.
So first play of the half is a loss of 8. Got to throw to get some of it back here. Allen lets it rip, sideline incomplete. He wanted Cooks, he'll get a flag. Turner got a hold of the veteran Brandon Cooks, who joined the Bills on Tuesday last week and then had a catch on his very first play in the game with the team.
Pass interference. Defense number 20. Ball's placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
Well, they are desperate to get somebody to get the downfield passing game going, and they're hoping that Cooks, who's in his 12th year, 32 years old, can throw it back a little bit. One of the best big play guys in the NFL early on in his career.
You see Turner, he just grabs the left arm there of Brandon Cooks, and then he's saying to the official, man, he's got both of his hands in my chest, but when you restrict the receiver, that's going to go against the defensive back pretty much every time.
That's a penalty of 20 yards and a first down at the 36. A run for James Cook, who got hit in the backfield and dropped by Geno Stone. And look, the best defense is a good offense, and that's been the case today for the Bengals, but this is another positive step for Al Golden's crew today.
Watch Geno Stone. So they're going to go in motion here. Watch him recognize Gilliam pull, and then he's just going to shoot that gap. He's down playing kind of like a nickel dime linebacker type from his safety position, and those run-through players on the backside run schemes are very hard to account for.
Held Lamar and the Ravens to 14 points on Thanksgiving. They're holding Josh Allen and the Bills to 11 halfway through this game. Underneath, it's Kincaid. Kincaid to the 41. Jalen Davis with the tackle. 5 years as a special teams player and in the practice squad. His third game as the starting nickel. Comes up with the tackle there. 3rd down and 5 for the Bills.
It's something this half to keep an eye on. The right tackle, Ryan Vandemark, he's in for Spencer Brown, the regular starting right tackle. He's out due to injury. Pam told us that at the start of the broadcast. This possession here, the first sack on that last check down, Vandemark's given up a lot of pressure here off that right side.
On 3rd down, Allen flushed. Allen runs and has a first down inside the 45. Josh Allen's longest run of the day, a gain of 16.
Yeah, so this time, Vandemark, he's going to get an inside rush. You see him right here at right tackle. Murphy goes inside and just kind of takes himself out of the play. No edges. Against Josh Allen, you cannot allow him to escape the pocket sideways, put edges on the pocket. That time, Murphy jumps inside Vandemark going for a sack, and Josh Allen makes him pay with his legs.
More rushing touchdowns than any quarterback in NFL history. Broke the tie with Cam Newton last week with his 76th career rushing score. Traditional run here with James Cook. And the Bengals have done a good job bottling him up so far. Bills have been the best second half team in the NFL this year. And hoping for another big second half today in a game that they need going into the matchup next week against New England. Sitting 8-4. Right in the edge of the playoff picture. 6 consecutive 10-win seasons, 5 consecutive division titles. The Bills might not be quite as dominant as they've been in recent seasons, but the AFC not as good this year. It's wide open. On 2nd and 7, Allen's given time. It's a check down for Cook. Davis wrestles him out of bounds. 3rd and short. This is exactly how you had the AFC East drawn up, right? This is what you knew it would look like.
Exactly right. We all knew the Patriots were going to be sitting at the top looking at a division title for the first time in a long time, and I guess we did think the Jets would be at the bottom. I guess that
we had that part.
I think that part we had, but pretty remarkable turnaround. It seems like every given year, the team goes from last to first in any given division, and this AFC East looks a little bit different than years past when Buffalo's dominated.
Yeah, last time the Bills failed to win the division, Josh Allen's 2nd season, 2019. 3rd down, it's Cook, hitting stride. There goes James Cook, inside the 20, inside the 10, where it's 1st and goal. Allen hits Cook out of the backfield for 28 yards. Battle saves a touchdown.
All right, again, talked on 3rd down. They love playing man coverage. This time they hide Cook there in the backfield. They call it mesh traffic. The backside receivers, they run interference. You run your running back through the line of scrimmage, and with all the man coverage on 3rd down, really nice play call there by Joe Brady.
1 for 5 on 3rd down in the first half, 2 for 2 on this drive, and now Cook battering his way to the 5. James Cook showing off all the dimensions of his game, getting involved in the passing game and then running hard right there. And a team that prides itself on the toughness. You hear Sean McDermott bring up that word once a sentence. This is the guy right here that he says the toughness is real. He's talking about last week, their game in Pittsburgh with the wind blowing and them leaning on the ground game, seeing him prowling around between drives and during timeouts with just a different look in his eye. Second and goal, back to the air. Allen to the end zone, Kincaid, touchdown Bills. Dalton Kincaid back in the lineup. He's got a touchdown. Felt like a drive that the Bills had to have a score, and they get it. Allen to Kincaid.
Yeah, and it's just a little short, little yo-yo motion to get leverage, and it's just F choice. He can break out. This time the defender's on the outside. He breaks in, and first quarter we were talking, this Cincinnati Bengals team, they are the worst team in the league defending the tight end position, and Dalton Kincaid's return from injury came at the perfect time.
Yeah, he's seeing those stats saying, I think that hamstring's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I think I'm back.
Extra point from Prater has not been a sure thing, but it's there. And Josh Allen on this drive, a perfect 4 for 4. Take advantage of a long penalty as well. And they get the running back involved in the passing game. James Cook, 20-plus yards to make it 1st down and goal. And then Allen finds Kincaid. Back and forth we go. These quarterbacks delivering. Joe Brady up there saying, hey, we can be whatever we need to be on a given day. Chucking it this afternoon. Final month of the regular season. Brady to kick it. Pirine and Jones waiting back. Jones points to Pirine and says, you've got it. And the former Oklahoma Sooner trucking it from inside the 5. Stop shy of the 30. We look back at the touchdown.
Yeah, so we'll take a look here. Dalton Kincaid, it looks like a small thing. So here's Kincaid. You're going to see he's going to go in yo-yo motion. All they're trying to do is determine man or zone. So look at the communication on the little motion. I got him. Now that little switch release, when Gabe Davis goes inside and Dalton Kincaid goes outside, all you're doing, Joe, is if you're going to run an in-breaking route, you want the defender to be aligned outside. If you're running an out-breaking route, you want to control. It's just controlling leverage pre-snap, and from there it's just pitch and catch.
Bengals offense, 3 touchdowns on 3 drives to begin this ball game. Chase Brown hit by Milano and slammed down by Epinesa on a gain of 2. The Bengals offense looked unstoppable for a lot of that first half. What adjustments are you making if you're the Bills?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing, and now you see T. Higgins, you heard Pam's report that he was still in the locker room. He is now back in the huddle. That's a welcome sight for Cincinnati. You know, coming into the game, a lot of the conversation of this Buffalo defense was all the struggles they've been having defending the run and how good they were defending the pass. A lot of that is they just didn't see very many passes. They've faced the fewest pass attempts per game than any defense in the league. And obviously that'll be a little different here today.
Most pass-heavy offense in the NFL. Burrow scans. Offensive line incredible. And Higgins comes free but drops it. Right on his hands. Thompson was in coverage. You give Burrow that much time, eventually somebody's going to come open, but a drop ball means that it's 3rd and 8.
Yeah, it's hard to tell exactly what happened. Does he feel Poyer coming over? Does he think he's going to take a shot there, coming back across on scramble drill? And see him just shaking his head. That's one he's not accustomed to missing.
But here's the big down. This is where the Bills could not get a stop in that first half until the very end. Since he's 7 of 8 on 3rd down and facing a blitz, Burrow throws into it, incomplete. Got a couple guys getting home right there. A couple DBs, both Jordan Hancock and Taron Johnson firing on the blitz. And the throw sailed over Jamar Chase. The punt team comes out.
And Christian Benford, you see him here at the corner. He's been pretty much shadowing Jamar Chase the entire game. One of the few targets that they've even gone in Chase's direction with Benford on him. So a lot of confidence in the young corner matched up against one of the premier players, regardless of position in the entire league, in Jamar Chase.
Seen that just about every week now. Christian Benford getting the top receiver on the other side. Whistle blows this one dead before. With the flag down and a false start.
False start. Offense. Number 43. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Benford was a 6th-round draft pick back in 2022. Kyer Elam was the guy that was supposed to be the top corner out of that draft class, a 1st-round pick. But by the end of training camp, it was Benford that had won the starting job. And he's just gotten better and better, and he's coming off one of the best games of his career. Won an AFC Defensive Player of the Week with a scoop and score touchdown, the interception that helped change that game against Pittsburgh. Another day where they put a lot on him, having him chase the top receivers around the field. So Rico will punt it. Shakir back to return. Carries Shakir back inside the 20. Down the sideline. Return to 9 yards. And Josh Allen and the Bills offense. Touchdown in the first drive. Now looking for the lead. Deal for the Buffalo Bills. 5 consecutive division titles. Down 3. First down and 10 from the 28. Fake to Cook. Over the middle. There's Knox having a big day. His 4th catch, a gain of 12. A lot of times he gets hidden because of Kincaid and what they've done lately with a run game. But Dawson Knox having one of his better games of the year.
Yeah, it's the exact play they ran for the first play of the entire game. Gronk pass, you pull the backside guard, David Edwards, and those linebackers, they just can't resist. They see that guard pull, under center play action. Best passing down. 1st and 10, under center play action is the best down in football to throw the ball.
And those are 2 rookie linebackers, Barrett Carter, Demetrius Knight, both getting a lot better but learning on the job. Allen, who's perfect in this half, will stay that way with another completion to Knox. 5 more yards for Dawson Knox in our first game break of the second half. Here's Carissa. Going to play the Ravens again, the 2nd time in 3 games next week. Cook. James Cook gets close. Looks like that second effort gets him enough for the first down.
You know, one of the things that'll be interesting here the rest of the second half for Al Golden, the defensive coordinator for the Bengals, he's playing way more single high, over 60% of the snaps today with only 1 safety. By far the most that they've done all season. Earlier in the game we talked, you need second-level defenders, yards after catch, defending this run game. So a little bit of a different flavor for Cincinnati, but with all these play-action shots and these seams they're giving up, can he stay in single high, or does he get back to playing too high defense?
First set of downs, Allen, pump fake, steps up, and gets ripped down. TJ Slayton, another one of the veterans on this young defense making his mark. He got Hill with a sack, and now Slayton gets in that column.
Yeah, under center, Josh Allen's just trying to fake like a little swing pass. He's going to try to look. He looks out to the front. Nope. Pulls it down and just has nowhere to go up the middle. Great job there by Slayton. And Josh Allen gets up with the turf stuck in his face mask.
And it all ties together, but that's one of the categories where it's been much different this year for the Bills. Allen's already been sacked more than twice as many times as he was last year. Blitz coming here. Got rid of it. Found a soft spot in the zone to Keon Coleman for his first catch of the day.
Yeah, and what's interesting, it's such a good point. You bring it up. You know, the sacks are up, but the pressure rate is down. So, again, quarterbacks like Josh Allen, they're always going to have pressure rates that can be a little misleading, and sacks can be misleading. Aaron Kromer, one of the best offensive line coaches in all of football. This Bills offensive line in the run game and in pass protection is as good as any unit in the league. So a lot of those sacks, a lot of the pressure is brought on by the style of play of Josh Allen.
See what the Bengals do here on 3rd and 4. They're showing blitz. Bubble it outside. Kincaid got a block from Shavers. Got a first down and then some. Dalton Kincaid to the 25. The Bills on the move with a gain of 19.
All right, so here you go. We talked about all this single high. This time they go back to 2 high safeties. Anytime you do that, you're missing a second level at like linebacker depth, which is a run and chase player. That's such a big element of this Bills offense is the yards after catch. And the further away you are from the line of scrimmage, the more operating space there is.
Well, now 8 for 8 in the second half. Cook. James Cook knifes his way through, stays on his feet, inside the 5, into the end zone, touchdown. James Cook gives Buffalo the lead. And dives his way through the snow. There's a flag, though.
Offense number 74.
And it's coming back.
Penalty. First down.
They get Ryan Vandemark to wipe away the touchdown.
This stadium just went from deafening to silent because I don't think anybody saw the initial flag. Everyone was just watching James Cook do a dive in the snow. And I'll tell you the other thing is, does that ball get knocked loose? Remember, if it's knocked loose and it's determined to go out in the end zone, that's a touchback. So I have to wonder whether they take a look at that. If you're Cincinnati.
How about Joseph Osai, who's an edge player, being down there, making that play? And I'm with you. I think it's out.
The ball's clearly out. Now, okay, so there's the red challenge flag from Zach Taylor, and this is going to be really close. It's no question the ball's out. The question is it inside or outside the pylon?
They're going to take a look. Let's see.
Cincinnati is challenging the ruling on the field. They believe the ball was fumbled through the back of the end zone before we ruled a touchdown.
All right, we'll take a break as they take a look. All right, Mike Pereira, so they say that it was a fumble, but out of bounds, and so not a touchback.
Yeah, and since the fact that they did actually change the ruling on the field, there is no timeout charge and there's no challenge on that. So, but it is clearly a fumble. They got a shot of that. Then it's like, did it go over the top of the pylon? Did it get inside? I think there was this shot here that shows you that the ball was actually short of the goal line when it crossed the sideline. So, crazy little play, as we seem to get every week.
And I'll tell you, and the other big takeaway for James Cook, and having an incredible season, one of the top running backs in the league, you young running backs at home, unless it is 4th down or the final play of the game, you never reach the ball at the goal line. It's the hardest instinct to fight. You're trying, you're giving everything in your power to score a touchdown, but you just can't extend the ball. He's very lucky that this ball did not go over inside that pylon, or else it would be Cincinnati ball at the 20.
All right, so they do just take the penalty with this being the case, and the ball's back at the 30. Instead of the long run from James Cook, the holding penalty on Vandemark has it 1st and 16, back at the 30-yard line. It was 21-11 at halftime. The Bills scored on their first drive of this half. On the move again. Allen stands in. Now steps up. Trying to run away from Osai. Broke his tackle and got bumped out by Barrett Carter. Josh Allen, we saw his toughness on a few runs in Pittsburgh last week. Seemed to get them fired up and add a little extra to him. And the fans get charged up here as he shows his hard running again.
Yeah, back-to-back plays. Just great effort by Joseph Osai. He's the one that hit James Cook out of bounds on the previous play and just can't quite get Josh Allen down. But he's playing with great effort, running to the ball, and pretty impressive back-to-back snaps there for Osai.
2nd and 9. Ty Johnson's in there running back for Cook. Allen throws for Johnson but incomplete. Looked like Allen thought Johnson was going to keep on going. Johnson stopped, and it's 3rd and 9. There's a flag in the secondary, though, going on Cincinnati.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense number 23. The 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
They get Dax Hill, and that makes it a first down.
They see him here matched up one-on-one on the bottom of the screen against Keon Coleman. Just those hands getting up in the head or neck area, and that was the flag.
All right, so a couple big penalties, one on each side on this drive. And the Bills bailed out. They were looking at a first down and 16. They pick up a first down quickly. Under 3 to go in this 3rd quarter. Here's Cook. James Cook, solid first down game behind this offensive line that has been awesome. Even last week with both starting tackles out, had a season high in rushing yards. Leading the NFL this year, more than 150 rushing yards per game.
And they really just have the perfect formula. They have the offensive line and the scheme that generates a lot of yards before contact. And then, of course, James Cook and his ability to both make guys miss and yards after contact on top of it. And then the last piece is they just have the volume. They just run the ball at a high rate. And you put all those things together and you're going to lead the league in rushing.
2nd and 5, run it again. Cook again. 3rd and 1. James Cook in his 4th season. Always had the talent. They said it was used to be just kind of talent, and I know it, and give me the ball, and I'm going to run. But he's combined that with a better understanding of the offense. He meets each week one-on-one with Aaron Cromer, the offensive line coach, to make sure he's mastered what the whole plan is, what the offensive line is trying to do for him. So now you marry that talent that he's always had with the intelligence that he's grown, and you've got a confident back right there. On 3rd and 1, let's see if they feed him again. Coleman one-on-one to the near side. They'll throw it to him. And Keon Coleman makes it 1st and goal. The much maligned second-year man from Florida State gets 8.
Just a simple run alert check. Everyone on the field, 9 offensive players are running the called rush play. And only Josh Allen and Keon Coleman know that that alert is there on the quick snap, assuming they get the right look. And now they got 1st and goal, and these are the situations where the rushing ability of Josh Allen becomes such a weapon down here close to the goal line.
Bills looking for their first lead of the day. James Cook reaches again. He lost it, and Cincinnati's got it. You just said it. Careful reaching the ball. And for the 2nd week in a row, James Cook loses a fumble. This one in the end zone, recovered by Oren Burks. Wow, got away with it once. This time, not the case, as Turner forced it and Burks recovered it. Well, for all the good things James Cook has done this season, this is now 4 fumbles the last 2 games. He's lost 2 of them. Here's one of them right here that he gets away with at the goal line. It's out of bounds instead of a touchback. But then DJ Turner coming in there and ripping the ball free of Cook with a little help from Jordan Battle. And it's Burks to fall on top of it. Joe Brady said, man, oh man, doing everything, controlling the ball, marching it down the field, but they come away empty-handed. Now Burrow goes back to work. He got pressured. He stepped up and heaved to the sideline out in front of Jamar Chase, who's chased by Taron Johnson. That's the 25th play of this third quarter. It's only the 4th run by the Bengals. So that's the equation. There's a holding here. Going to go on the Bills.
5-yard penalty from the previous spot.
So they get Johnson trying to defend Chase. That's what you want. You want to keep Burrow off of the field, but you got to finish off drives of points when you're doing that. The Bills unable to right there. A little hold right there on Johnson trying to defend Chase.
And that's the advantage of having a top receiver like Jamar Chase. You don't have to just align him on the outside, because when they do, Christian Benford's been shadowing him pretty much the entire game out by the numbers.
A line of scrimmage stacked with Bills. Handed off Pirine, able to gash it. And Samaje Pirine tripped up by Cole Bishop. Streaks through there for 9 yards on first down. 30 seconds to go in this third quarter. 3 touchdown drives to begin the ball game, but then back-to-back punts. Burrow actually 0 for his last 4 after a nearly perfect start. The Bengals with a 3-point lead. It's not just Burrow, it's the defense again making some plays. Defense that was historically bad for the first couple months of this season. Forced 5 turnovers to help them win in Baltimore last game. Critical takeaway here.
We'll see if they're just trying to see if they can get a free play and take this thing into the fourth quarter.
They're trying to take this thing right down to the finish, keep their playoff hopes alive. Here in Buffalo. 2nd down and short for the Bengals. It's a Pirine run, and it's a first down for Cincinnati. And a gain of 5 for Samaje Pirine. The Bengals, 3 drives, 3 touchdowns to begin the game, have not scored since. They made the most of those early opportunities and have a 3-point lead.
And one of the things this Buffalo Bills offense does to the game is it really shortens it. Now it puts a lot of emphasis on the ability of Buffalo to capitalize on their limited possessions, but just think, this is only Joe Burrow in the Cincinnati. Here we are in the start of the fourth quarter. This is only Burrow and the Bengals' 6th offensive possession, so it just puts a real heightened sense of importance every time each team possesses the ball.
Chase trying to get it in his hands. He's been quiet today. Jamar Chase got 4 yards before Shaq Thompson tackled him. Leading the NFL among receivers and receptions coming in. He's got just 1 today, make it 2 there. Technically a reception. On the sweep play. 2nd and 5, under 14 to play. Bengals are 4-8. Outside shot at the playoffs. Best path would be through the division where no team is above 500. The Bills 8-4, currently the 7 seed. Blitz coming. Burrow off his back foot has Gesicki, and Gesicki's got a first down. Working against Mackrell Hairston.
We've seen now Gesicki multiple times. When he gets those one-on-one matchups, he's just big, he's long. Now here he is working against Hairston, the young corner, and tell you what, Gesicki throughout his career, he runs routes much more like a wide receiver than he does necessarily a tight end. He's fluid, he's long. He's not gonna really be in the box as a traditional wide tight end, not gonna do a lot of the run blocking stuff, but on the outside, he is a big-time threat.
His 3rd catch today. On first down, back to the ground, Chase Brown. And Brown was stopped at the line of scrimmage. Cole Bishop, leading tackler for the Bills in his 2nd season, up there to make the stop.
Yeah, watch the job here. We haven't called Cole Bishop's name a lot, but I just want to show, look how deep he comes. With the motion, they rock the safeties away. Look at the depth he comes from to make that. So they want to use Buffalo, this style of defense. They want to force negative runs on early downs, and a lot of the ways they're going to do it is with defensive backs and off-ball players getting penetration.
Now Bishop, who didn't play a ton in his first year last year, sporadic playing time largely because of the injuries, breaking out in his 2nd year. With the play clock running out, a timeout taken by Cincinnati.
Timeout, Cincinnati.
We'll be right back. Look, they got to win out. They've got Baltimore after this next week. 3 games after that, will they be the favorite? They got a 3-point lead early on in the fourth quarter in Buffalo. Bills bail out of a pressure look. Underneath Yosivas. Bishop there for another tackle. 3rd and about 5.
Nice job here by Burrow. A lot of depth and just putting themselves in here in 3rd and medium, which not only is that just to get on track here for 3rd down, but more so it allows them to treat this 3rd down like 2nd down. They could hand the ball off. They could throw short of the sticks. Here, right around the midfield logo, is prime 4-down territory for Cincinnati.
Timeout. Taken by Buffalo. First one used by Sean McDermott. With 11:35 left to go, we'll take the break with him. Burrow goes sideline, and there's Chase. A 1st down, getting a step on Cam Lewis.
Yeah, another great example of moving Jamar Chase inside, and now it's a matchup against Cam Lewis. We saw earlier in the 2nd half against Taron Johnson, the slot corner, because when he's been out wide against Christian Benford, there's just not been a lot of action outside the numbers, and his ability to be moved all around the formation is just such a weapon for Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow.
1st down and 10 from the 38. Bills backing everybody up inside. It's back outside to Chase. Made a man miss. Jamar Chase crossed the 35-yard line. Checking with Carissa.
Thank you, Joe.
That team to just 7 points. Rodgers and the Steelers coming to life, trying to break a tie at the top of the division there.
One thing this Cincinnati Bengals team does better in the run game is run between the tackles. Teams have had a lot more luck running between the hashes than they have on the outside.
Burrow to throw it here. Sideline again. Higgins with the defense from Hairston. It's incomplete. And it's 3rd and 6. And this has been the down today, but the Bengals have been so good. They just converted again to Jamar Chase. They are 8 for 10 on 3rd down. Third and 6. Bills are coming. Over the middle, there's Higgins. A juggle and a catch, and another 3rd down conversion for Cincinnati. They bring the blitz, and the Bengals beat it with a 19-yard gain.
Yeah, it all starts inside. They've done this all-up pressure, and then they usually bail and then bring unblocked defenders. He just can't quite get there from off the edge, and Higgins is having a hard time hanging on to the ball, but that time he's able to secure, and he hits his head again, and just definitely looks uncomfortable, and hard to say exactly what's going on.
Leading everybody today, 5 catches, 70 yards. Here's Brown straight ahead with a head of steam into a big body inside there. Larry Ogunjobi tackled him. Higgins leaves the game again. He's been in and out today after missing last week with a concussion. 2nd and 7. A Bills defense, Greg, that has not given up a touchdown in the 2nd half the last 3 games, trying to stand tall here, keep it a 1-score game.
It's just remarkable what Joe Burrow has been able to do on 3rd down. It is the ultimate quarterback sack. I'm sorry, quarterback stat.
Chase one-on-one to the top against Benford. Burrow throws back that way. Touchdown. Gesicki came loose. Mike Gesicki, his first touchdown of the year.
Buffalo dials up an all-up pressure. This time, nobody drops. All of the defenders inside, they just all hit it. It's cover 0 on the back end, and they just drop the coverage. Gesicki's open. Tanner Hudson, number 87, he was completely uncovered, just a blown assignment on the back end, and you do that against Joe Burrow, he's going to make you pay.
Cool Joe on a cold Sunday at it again. It's a 2-score lead for the Bengals as he gets his 3rd passing touchdown of the day. And after the fumble, boy, what a turnaround. What a heel turn this game has made. Cook fumbles at the goal line. The Bengals march it down the field and find the end zone themselves. Winning here today.
That would go a long way towards their playoff hopes. But like you said, I've been on a team that won a division with a sub-500 record, and we went on to win a playoff game that year, so you just never know.
Ty Johnson got crunched. Kept his legs, turning to get across the 30. Take us back to the touchdown. Burrow to Gesicki.
All right, so they're all up pressure. They've showed this alignment with all these guys standing at the line of scrimmage. There's Burrow. He gets a good look, and here's what he's seeing. So they got 7 guys up at the line, and it really just leaves 4 defenders on the back end. It's cover 0. If your man stays in the block, you blitz. Buffalo just doesn't do a good job matching the 5 eligibles. Burrow's able to make the unblocked defensive end miss, and it's just wide open.
And so the Bills now down 2 scores with just 8.5 to go, running out of chances. Have not lost a home game in December in 4 years. Allen steps up, goes down the sideline, back shoulder for Tyrell Shavers, an adjustment and a catch. Tyrell Shavers, who's made his name in the run game. Former undrafted free agent getting his first real shot this year.
And I think at this point in the game, just approaching 8 minutes, they're going to have to start pushing the ball a little downfield. It's not something they've had a lot of success with, but in a 2-possession game, they got to get rolling.
Kincaid quickly in his hands. He got a block from Shakir. Rumbled ahead for a dozen more. Stopped by Barrett Carter into Cincinnati territory to the 40-yard line.
So they got to stay on the ball. No huddle. I mean, Josh Allen today, he's averaging just a little over 3 yards in air yards a game. So that's how far the ball travels past the line of scrimmage. So clearly not pushing it downfield very often.
Looking downfield here, lets it rip Kincaid, but it's broken up by Battle. Jordan Battle, leading tackler this year for the Bengals in his 3rd season from Alabama. 2nd and 10.
Dalton Kincaid, he's going to run a little inside seam route. Just trying to throw that ball away from Battle, more to the middle of the field. Kincaid wants PI. I think it's a good no call. Battle's doing a nice job just playing through the ball, and Josh Allen knows he's just got to put that one a little bit more to the inside.
20 out of 25 today, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He's pressured, he's got a ton of room. There goes Josh Allen through the snow, into the end zone. Touchdown Bills, 40 yards.
Well, there's quarterback rush lanes, and then there's this. Josh Allen hits the top of his drop, and just watch this lane just completely open. Great job there by Deion Dawkins. Taking the inside rusher, leaves the widest guy for the quarterback. And when you have an athlete like Josh Allen playing the quarterback position, it doesn't have to always be perfect.
It was more than a snow blower. Clear the path right there. One of those big snow plows. It was an industrial snow plow. His extra point wobbles through. Well, they had to be quick, and they were. 68 yards in 1:11. Josh Allen with a 40-yard touchdown run. The Bills far from finished. Career, and it keeps the Bills in this game. 28-25 with 7.5 left.
Yeah, so watch Deion Dawkins right here, the left tackle, back from injury. This is what they call empty protection. So you only have 5 offensive linemen. So he knows if both Burks and Johnson both rush, Johnson belongs to the quarterback, and he will take the inside rusher. So Josh Allen understands who's he's responsible for, and the big left tackle, Dawkins, he knows. And no one in Cincinnati even knew who had the ball in the back end, and Joe Brady said, all right, that's about as easy as it gets.
That's how we drew it up, right?
Exactly right.
We drop back, everybody else run out of the way, and Josh, you just run to the end zone.
Is this game awesome or what?
So good.
Gosh, this is so good.
28-25, Bengals in front. Charlie Jones from the 10 for Cincinnati. He was met at the 30-yard line. Reggie Gilliam, the fullback, getting involved on special teams, and Joe Burrow goes back to work. He said it took him some time to shake off the rust in the first half. In his return against Baltimore, he said, I was pretty lights out in the second half, and he's kept that going today. 20 out of 28, 3 touchdowns.
And it's really just continues to be his work on third down. 9 of 11. Just a ridiculous number against the defense that coming into the game was among the best pass defensive teams in the entire league, being the Bills.
Not supposed to be able to miss that much time, 2.5 months, and come back and look this good so quickly. Fake and a throw, and there's Noah Fant. His first catch. He's getting all his tight ends involved. I'm sure you're okay with that.
Hey, when I call games, tight ends have good days. That's kind of the way it's worked over the years, and there's a lot of really good tight ends in this game. And what I think's so cool about both the rooms, Joe, both for the Bengals and the Bills, is maybe not the star, maybe not the George Kittle or the Brock Bowers of the world, but just depth. They play with multiple tight ends. Each guy has kind of their own flavor that they bring to the offense, and getting them all involved.
Fan over from Seattle. His first season with Cincinnati. First down and 10, close to midfield. Here's Chase Brown, spun away from the first man, got a couple. Finished off by Maxwell Hairston. 6:40 and counting in a 3-point game. Burrow needs a new helmet.
Interesting. You have to wonder, is he having some issues with the communication? Or
28-25 game at Highmark Stadium. One of the final times in this place. The new Highmark Stadium rising up across the parking lot. Over the middle, Chase plucked it out of the air, stayed on his feet, and got a first down. Jamar Chase, there is a flag down as he gets 16 yards. One catch in the first half. Chase with his 4th of the second half.
Illegal use of hands to the face, defense number 99. That penalty has declined. Result of the play, first down.
Larry Ogunjobi, the former Bengal, caught for the penalty.
And Jordan Poyer, he thought he saw this route coming. Gesicki goes vertical, and Jamar Chase just uses running through his wake, and Poyer's trying to knock the ball out and can't secure the tackle.
Strong hands again from Chase, who moves over 1,000 yards for the 5th time in as many seasons in the NFL. Joins Randy Moss, A.J. Green, Mike Evans, his old LSU teammate Justin Jefferson, the only guys ever to do that. 5 out of 5 reaching 1,000. From the 33. Oh my goodness! Look out here! Christian Benford, gift wrapped the other way! Touchdown! What just happened? 67 yards! Christmas comes early for Christian Benford and the Buffalo Bills, who lead this game for the first time.
I just don't think Joe Burrow got a good handle on the ball. It was one of those run alerts where the entire team is running a run play, and he sees Benford come off the slot on pressure, and he's just trying to throw it over his head. Just don't think he got a good grip on the ball, and throws it right into his face.
Second game in a row with a touchdown for Christian Benford on defense. Look at his eyes are big. Even he's saying, whoa. First time that Joe Burrow's been intercepted all year. And he may not throw another one like that ever.
Buffalo, their second. It's a 30-second timeout.
Timeout taken by the Bills here.
Yeah, so you see Benford, he just comes off the slot, and Joe Burrow saying, okay, I'll just throw into that space. I'll just tag it. You don't want Benford coming off the edge, creating a lost yardage play. So again, everyone here is just running. He just kind of shot puts it, and then he just can't secure the tackle, and that's about as easy as a pick six Christian Benford's going to have during his entire career.
My, oh my, the Bills have taken the lead as Christian Benford finds the end zone. Prater pokes through the extra point. And it's 32-28 Buffalo. Well, some massive turnovers in this game. We welcome those of you that are joining us from Minnesota, Roland, Washington. Much different story in this game. It's been tight. It's been tense. Really high-level quarterback play on both sides. This last play notwithstanding. Christian Benford, after a scoop and score touchdown last week, on a corner blitz, on a DB blitz, gets an interception and takes it back for the touchdown.
And this Bills defense, they love blitzing, especially to the short side of the field. Those are run blitzes. They're trying to create negative plays in the run game with their secondary. And Zach Taylor looks on and says, man, my quarterback has been so good all day, and just makes a mistake.
Boy, 2 turnovers that have resulted in 7 points one way or the other, right? You had James Cook fumbling at the goal line. Didn't score. It was a touchback, and now this turnover directly to 6 the other way.
I'll tell you one thing that we know about Joe Burrow.
He ain't phased.
He's going to come out this next possession, and he's going to let it rip. That is going to have no impact on him going forward.
Short one here. Charlie Jones. Charlie Jones taken down. Jordan Hancock with the tackle there on special teams. And here he comes. Cool Joe, going to need to be just that. He never looks rattled. If you happen to just join us, you have missed a thriller of a ball game. You got the top 2 quarterbacks perhaps in the league right now going head-to-head, and they've both delivered.
They've been incredible. Third downs, high-level scramble play. This is quarterback play, to your point, other than the last play. The rest of the game is about as good a quarterback play as you can have on both sides of the ball. And it just feels a 1-score game with one of these quarterbacks is the way it should be.
Burrow has it hit at the line and picked again. Lightning strikes twice for Buffalo. A.J. Epinesa gets this one.
All right, we got to stop saying good quarterback play.
Forget it.
It's just the last 2 plays are an absolute nightmare for Cincinnati, and a Buffalo defense that early on today, we weren't sure if they were going to get a stop with the way Cincinnati went up and down the field. These last 2 plays resulting in takeaways have completely shifted this game.
Epinesa, the interception after Jordan Phillips, the 11-year veteran, got his hand on it. And Joe Burrow, who had not been intercepted all year, gets picked off on back-to-back plays.
All right, so now Cincinnati's defense, they've got to step up. They've got to find a way to force a field goal here. 7-point game and get the ball back to Joe Burrow. With 5 minutes to go, getting this thing to double digits seems tough.
James Cook. James Cook close to a first down inside the 20. There is a flag, though. There's a flag back at the 25-yard line. There's a couple Bengals slow to get
number
up.
74, 10-yard penalty, first down.
A rough day for Ryan Vandermark continues. He's called for the penalty. And an injured Bengal. They come out to take a look at him. 5:03 left to go in this ball game. We're going to take a break. .40-yard touchdown right there to get him to within a score. And then Christian Benford, a 67-yard pick 6. Although you need to watch the clip of that to really understand what that pick 6 looked like. The next play, a tipped ball and an interception for A.J. Epinesa. So the Bills have it, leading this game for the first time. 5:03 left, and Burrow hoping for another shot over on that Bengals sideline. Huge game for both these teams. Bengals trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. Bills trying to solidify their standing. Allen given time. He's got his tight end, Dawson Knox, having his biggest game. Dawson Knox makes it first and goal. 31 yards for Knox.
It's just Joe Brady going into his bag. You go post, wheel, and then a tight end delay drag route. It's just so hard. Look, they're gonna send James Cook all the way through the line of scrimmage. So he takes that flat defender, and then they just replace him with the tight end Knox, and just a ton of green grass. It's just a great call coming out of the break there by Joe Brady.
How about 93 yards today for Dawson Knox, who came into the game just a little over 200 for the year. First down and goal for the Bills. Hand it off. Cook, both hands over the ball as he trips inside the 5, and it's second down. James Cook as productive as any running back in the NFL, but if you happen to just tune in, fumbles have been an issue. 2 of them today, 4 of them the last 2 weeks, and you know the Bengals are going to be ripping at it.
Yeah, you have to imagine now, Joe Brady and Sean McDermott just saying, all right, last time we were down here on the doorstep of the goal line, he fumbles. I think I'm getting in the gun. I'm putting the ball in Josh Allen's hand here if they get down to the 1 or 2 yard line.
Only receiver here, Gabe Davis to the top, one-on-one. Second and goal, it's Cook again. James Cook got stopped by Geno Stone, who's the injured player a moment ago. So Stone's back in there making a tackle. Third and goal and a timeout taken by the Bengals. With 3:15 on the clock, 1 of them left for Zach Taylor. James Cook now 77 yards on the day, having a career year. 3rd consecutive 1,000-yard season. Not just the yards, but the volume now. Only Christian McCaffrey has carried the ball more than James Cook has this season. And of course, Swarm Buffalo's got to be cooking wings, huh?
No doubt. Now, I'll be real curious here. You know, if you're James Cook, you're in that huddle and you're saying, man, give me another shot. What is it? I promise I'm not going to reach the ball for the goal line, but let me finish this thing off. Be curious whether they get under center and take the Josh Allen run off the table, or what we've seen over the years is keep him in gun and keep him alive.
You got your 2 plays here, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think, oh man, you know how I feel. I'm going to try to put a knockout shot anytime I can. You get 2 downs here to make this a 2-score game. I think you take it. A lot's going to determine how this 3rd down goes and how close they get.
All the big bodies are in there. They're going to boot Allen. Looking end zone for Knox. Taken away. Takes it himself. Throws last minute for Knox. And a touchdown. Dawson Knox. His career day continues. He's got a touchdown. Was he in bounds and did he hang on?
So you see the Bengals defenders, they're giving the sign that they believe he juggled it. Let's take a look here. Oh, he definitely juggles it. That's an incomplete pass, and they'll fix this real quick, and it'll bring up 4th and goal.
You got the kick team out there for the extra point, and you're going to need to decide whether to keep him out there to kick a field goal or pull him off and send the offense to the field for what would be a 4th down try.
It's an incomplete pass.
Get it right very quickly.
Yeah, I think I'm going. 4th and goal. You're at the 3-yard line. You've got one of the best red zone threats at quarterback in NFL history. You mentioned you just broke Cam's record, most rushing touchdowns from the quarterback position, and I think either way, you know, it's a touchdown game now with a 4-point lead. A field goal makes it a touchdown game anyway. So all you're doing is introducing a touchdown could still beat you. I'm going for it here, trying to make it a double-digit game and saying I don't know if Joe Burrow has enough time left to have multiple possessions. So I'm with Sean McDermott going for it here.
All right, so here we go. 4th down and goal. Allen has thrown for 2. He's run for 1 today. Out of the I formation. He looks to throw. He pumps. He throws. He's got a touchdown. He's got Jackson Hawes.
Just no pass rush whatsoever. We got Snow Angels in the end zone. Cincinnati does a great job defending the initial pass scheme. Just, you got all day. So watch Jackson Hawes. He comes across. He's right here. He's initially a blocker, but look how long he has. Now he just sneaks out and he's unaccounted for.
And the rookie out of Georgia Tech, who's been vital in the run game as they've leaned on that in recent weeks, has his 3rd touchdown. And the Bills, after trailing this whole game with 2 takeaways to turn the tide, now lead by 2 scores. It's been completely flipped upside down.
It's unbelievable, and it all just starts with the amount of time that Josh Allen has. Take a look here. Cincinnati does a really good job. They're trying to get a little mesh. They're trying to get a bunch of crossers. They do a good job passing it off. They just don't account for Hawes, who initially is in the pass protection, leaking out late. And Sean McDermott's like, that's why you go for it on 4th down, and you make it an 11-point game. Barring something crazy here, Cincinnati only has 1 timeout and the 2-minute warning, so they can only stop the clock here 2 more times.
All smiles up there with Joe Brady. And this offense has done what it's needed to. They've been heavy with a run game in recent weeks, but turning it to the reigning MVP today, saying go do it for us, Josh Allen. 22 out of 28, more pass than run in this game. And the Bills have scored 21 unanswered over the last 4:30.
I just love that aggressive approach. You want to win these kind of games, you've said it a couple times. This feels like a playoff matchup, playoff energy, a lot on the line for both teams. And you kick a field goal there and you go up 7, it's a lot easier standing at the podium. And that really drives a lot of decision making for coaches. It's hard to be aggressive in those critical moments, knowing you face the music if it goes wrong.
Charlie Jones from the 5. Bills have done a good job covering his returns today. Almost slipped through there. He's lassoed down at the 33. So with 2:57 left, Joe Burrow had been so good all day, but back-to-back throws get intercepted. And he's going to need some kind of magic here to not just keep this game alive, but to keep the Bengals' faint playoff hopes going. 2 games back of Pittsburgh and Baltimore coming into the day. Looks like Pittsburgh with a 5-point lead over the Ravens at this point, late in Baltimore. It doesn't matter what happens there if the Bengals can't find a way to pull off a late miracle here. Burrow for Gesicki. Perfect strike and a one-handed catch. Gesicki right down the chute gets 36 yards.
And that's huge because as this clock continues to tick, ideally you'd love to get a score on the plus side of the 2-minute. Give yourself 2 opportunities to stop the clock. So scoring fast here is big.
Underneath this time, same target. Gesicki racing for the sideline, and he'll get there. Gesicki, who's got a touchdown today, a couple more quick catches here. 5 total for the day. 2nd and 6, 2:25.
Probably something we don't give enough time and conversation around is the ability to maintain your timeouts for these moments. Cincinnati had to burn their first timeout because they couldn't get lined up, got low on the play clock, and then used their second timeout there on defense. You'd love to have 2 timeouts remaining.
Burrow pressured by Rousseau. He's got Brown in the end zone. He couldn't hang on. Cam Lewis, who they've gone after a few times today, was able to jar it loose. 3rd and 6.
That was a great ball. I mean, he drops this thing in the bucket. Down 11 here. Save your season. You just got to make that catch. Saw him make a great catch for a touchdown on the pylon in the first half, and would have had himself another one there. Just can't quite hang on.
9 out of 11 on 3rd down in this game. You need more than just a 3rd down conversion, though, quickly. Down 2 scores. Into the blitz. Wants T. Higgins. He's got him. Higgins fights through contact for the touchdown. Second one of the day, and T. Higgins returned from the injury. He catch that thing with one hand. I mean, he had Tre'Davious White all over him and still made it look easy.
All right, watch pre-snap. You see just kind of alerts to it. He looked at T. Higgins. He saw something pre-snap that he liked and just said, hey, go run right by him. You see Tre'Davious Red, he's kind of waiting at the sticks, thinking it's going to come out fast. And now Cincinnati's going to elect to go for 2 here. Try to make this thing 3-point game.
With 2:13 left, a 2-minute warning and 1 timeout. Burrow hopping around, lost the ball, and a failed 2-point conversion this time. So it remains a 5-point game as the Buffalo defense gets the stop on this 2-point conversion. A.J. Epinesa recovering the Burrow fumble.
Yeah, so big stop there clearly. Now keeps this as a touchdown game. Well defended. Right there, I thought Burrow was thinking he was going to get up there and try to take it in himself. Ends up running into his own guy, and ball gets knocked loose.
So 39-34. Bengals had led this entire game until early on in the 4th quarter when it swung in a hurry. 21 unanswered for the Bills over a 4-minute span. And outside of 2 passes, back-to-back passes, Burrow's been awesome. But those back-to-back throws critical. One of them a pick 6 for Christian Benford on a corner blitz where he just jumped up and picked it off. And took it back 67 yards. The next pass intercepted as well. Josh Allen just kind of lurking there, playing a steady game, but has made some big plays for him here in the second half.
All right, so let's talk through this final 2 minutes and 13 seconds. The Bengals have elected not to onside kick. Remember, at the end of the game, they would take the return unit. It would look more of like a traditional kickoff that we're accustomed to, but they're going to elect to kick this deep. Think back, we said you want to score your first score on top plus side of the 2-minute. They can now stop the clock 2 times, a timeout, a 2-minute. And what they don't want to do is onside kick. If they do force a stop, it's a much longer field position game, knowing they need a touchdown.
Ray Davis on the return to the 30. Now, Josh Allen last week, just 123 yards, was his lowest total in 2 years, but today 251 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's also had his longest rushing touchdown of his career, 40 yards. Spread the ball around. He has made plays whenever they've needed him.
Tell you what, whether it's been with his legs, whether it's been as a scramble runner, a scramble passer, or just an in-rhythm pocket passer, he's been absolutely incredible this entire game.
4 more touchdowns total today, 34 for the year. Right there with Matthew Stafford, the NFL leaders. Handoff for James Cook. 3 yards. And the 2-minute warning. On the other side of it, Bengals will have 1 timeout. Bills looking for 1 first down to seal the deal. Win a 12th consecutive December or January home game and trying to do it in comeback fashion today.
I think one of these next 2 downs, I'm not afraid to play action, keep the ball in Josh Allen's hand.
That's what they'll do right here on 2nd down. Look out, he gets sacked, and he's lucky to hang on to the ball.
Yeah, I think he's better off taking that than trying to throw it away. Right now, it's about the clock. Of course, you want to get a first down, but he throws that ball away while in the grasp. Cincinnati can save their final timeout.
Osai got there, Slayton was there, and then Geno Stone out of the secondary, and there is Cincinnati's last timeout with 1:54, and it's 3rd down and 15.
I don't hate the play action. I think kind of what I had in mind was those plays we've seen him run a lot today where he gets out on the perimeter and he's got guys in the flat, he's got late trailers, and then of course if nothing's there, he becomes the outlet, stay in bounds, get yardage, and get down. The play action in the pocket, his ability to improvise on the run is not quite as strong as it is outside the tackle box.
What are you doing here? Are you going to drain the clock, run the ball?
Yeah, 3rd and real long. I'm just going to say, okay, I'm going to try to take as much time off this clock as humanly possible. 3rd and 15, your odds of picking this up aren't great. If it is a pass, something underneath, rely on yards after catch.
They will throw. Allen dances and runs, and Josh Allen looking for the knockout blow. High steps his way to it. Josh Allen put him on his back today. 18 yards to seal the deal on another snowy December Buffalo win.
Feels like the perfect ending to the game we just watched. He's trying to just throw the ball to Ty Johnson in the flat. But again, there's just nobody at the second level with eyes on Josh Allen. You cannot rely on your defensive front to contain him. 3rd and 15, your off-ball linebackers have to be your run and chase, and there's just nobody home.
And if you're the Bengals, you're sitting there saying our season hanging by a thread, still with a chance. We're about to give the ball back to Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen on 3rd and 15 runs for a first down.
I mean, let's go back. We came onto the broadcast, and we talked about this new look Buffalo Bills and the run game and James Cook, and all of that remains true. But in the critical moments, the ultimate ace in the hole is having quarterbacks like Josh Allen behind center, because when most teams are just going to walk out of this stadium and say we're going to rely on our defense, critical moments of the game, the ball is going to continue to be in his hands.
And as good as any quarterback in a long time, Josh Allen, you don't know how many chances you're going to get with him in his prime, and enough pieces around him to win the whole thing. And the Bills' first step, they just got to get in, and that was not a sure thing coming into the day. Sitting at 8-4 in the last playoff spot, but solidified that standing a little bit, seeking their first Super Bowl trip since the early 90s.